Hello and welcome to the next track guide in the ATA track guide section. My name is BR Mr. Michaels and we're here for the second round of the season, which will be at China. An interesting track, this one. Relatively new, well, not relatively new to the current F1 calendar. First race was in 2004. Correct me if I'm wrong with that, but I believe it was 2004. But yeah, provides some very interesting racing, some tricky midfield section of the track, as well as some high speed along the straight down to the hairpin. So let's head out onto the track just to see what this layout is all about. So of course we had the first few races in Australia, and they were quite interesting. It weren't without issues, and obviously they'll be explained when we go live for GP2, which will be on Thursday, and F1 on the Friday, but they'll be explained when they start the stream. So I hope you enjoyed Australia last week. If you haven't seen it, it's obviously on the YouTube channel that we have from last week, but here we are at China for this. So like Australia, I'm going to show you the setup which I use for China. I'm going to take you around 2 laps. The first lap will be basically, won't be at full sort of pace, basically explain how to take each corner, and then the second lap will be I basically won't talk and you can see how I attack the circuit. So let's have a look at the setup in Mercedes once again. I'm probably going to use the Mercedes at every track. I may change up a little bit, but let's have a look at the setup, which I've got most of them pretty much saved now. So there is China, which I've made the setup in my career mode, interestingly. So right, so here's the setup for China. So for the aero, now with these cars they do have a lot of downforce. So with this track, because you don't want to lose too much time on the straights, I mean, you can either, I personally go with a 7.6. That's just basically me. I want the car to be stable. Even though I lose a lot of time on the straight, I gain so much in the corners, and but that's just my driving style. So you may want to bring it down just a little bit, to like a 5.5 or a 5.4, but that's just me. I just keep it at 7.6. Transmission, same as Australia, 50 and 70. Now the aero for this one, because I've gone 7.6 aero, I've tend to go for the camber at this. I try to keep that balance obviously at the bottom, but when you basically put the front and rear camber all the way to the right, it gives you straight line speed. Now on the straight, your car's going to be, or you'll see when I do the lap, it's kind of doesn't go in a straight line, but it gives you more straight line speed. The bottom two basically helps with tyre wear, because tyre wear around China is very heavy or very harsh, so you want to sort of compensate for that by doing that. Now obviously, I'll explain when we get to tracks that require a lot of straight line speed, like Monza, and there's one other track as well, but Monza mainly you put the top two to the right, bottom two to the left, but because this is like a mixture, you want to have a balance between the two, so that's what I've gone with here. Again, you may want to adjust this personally, depend what you want to do. Suspension, the same as Australia. I mean, to be honest, the transmission, the suspension, the brakes, and the tyres I normally keep the same, because that's just, I found a perfect balance of all the tracks works with that. You just want to change the aero and the suspension, and maybe the weight distribution as well. But there's the suspension, 727 455. Brakes 80/60. Again, that's just my personal preference. Tire pressure. Again, with this, because tyre wear is heavy, as I said, you may want to put the tyre pressures a little bit lower. I'll just keep it like it is. And the weight distribution on 4, you may want to take it up to 5, possibly 6, but not any higher than that. So 4, 5 or 6, I'm going to keep that at 4. So that is the setup. Let's head up to the track and let's see what we can do. So we're just going to begin the lap now. And of course you want to sort of get a good exit out of this corner here, so clip the apex and don't go too wide obviously, because the game will give you invalidated lap time. So head into turn 1 into DRS. Now what I want to do, you want to use sort of like the engine and the gears to sort of break down, and you've got to sort of like carry the speed in but go slow, you know, carry your speed in slowly, and into turn 2 as well. Turn 1 and 2 you've got to wait up before getting onto the power. Just want to flat out through here. That's the end of second. Brake down into second gear. I mean, it's obviously invalidated, but I'm just showing you how to take the track now. The corners are absolutely beautiful. It's completely flat out in these cars now. But this corner here, you want to hug the apex on the inside, go down to the 4th gear, and down into 3rd. You will understeer that little section I've just gone through, but you will just want to get as close to the apex as you can. Just got to go through there. So that's the end of the middle sector. Down into second gear here. Now this is the traction problem going through here if you have no traction control. Got to mind the wheel spin. You got to get a good exit, because this is the long straight going down into the hairpin, opening up the DRS and up to over 200 miles an hour. And you want to brake, and you've got to be very careful when you're braking. So just before the 100-meter board, down into second gear. I didn't do that very well at all, but you want to take that hairpin and then through the final corner again, keep the exits, mind the bollard of course, and over the start finish line. So I'm going to do the second lap, and you will see what I mean. But there you go, that is a lap of the Chinese Grand Prix, or the Chinese track, sorry. But unfortunately I was actually up on my previous best at this track, but went wide at the final corner, which is again, as I mentioned, something you do want to sort of watch out for at this track, especially with this game. But there's that view that says, there we go. So yes, there's the track of China. It's a nice track. I mean, I like it personally. It's not my favourite, but yeah, it should provide some interesting racing. And one thing you do want to watch out for is the chance of rain is quite heavy in China. It's very high. There's been a lot of races in real life and in the game in multiplayer and career mode. You will find a lot of wet weather races at this track. But as I said, so yeah, that's that. Tyre wear is very heavy. It's always been heavy at this track in every sort of F1 game, but it's still the same here, even with the new tyres, which are a lot more durable, you still have to probably do a 2-stop. Strategy is going to be a key thing here. You'll find when you watch the races. Now, obviously, the ones to watch, GP2, obviously is going to be on the Thursday, and I think the ones to watch there. I mean, obviously, bearing in mind from Australia, we had Floodlines take the victory with IGG Skyline second after a great recovery drive, and then third place went to Frantique. I will probably say Frantique is probably the one to watch in when it comes to GP2 on the Thursday. Looked very, very strong in Australia. Probably unlucky. He's got a lot more pace in the drive because Australia was wet. So if it's a dry race, probably Frantique is the one to watch in the Force India. Obviously Floodlines will be there, Skyline. XR Gravediggers also done well at this track in the Ferrari. So yeah, that will be that. In the F1 division, I myself, I'm actually not hopeful of a victory. I like this track, but I've never really gone that quick around here. It seems to be a thing with this track. So I'm aiming for a podium, but we'll see. If there's wet weather, then that could be quite good, because I'm quite good in wet weather. I was doing well in Australia until an unfortunate and frustrating glitch robbed me of almost a certain podium, actually. And yeah, basically the F1 division, Australia is going to be rerun because we had a very, very troublesome glitch in which the one of the drivers retired and his ghost car appeared in the pit lane, and I was the first one to pit, and when I came out, I got stuck basically and couldn't move at all. So so that's that. So yeah, Australia will be rerun. So technically, China for F1 division is going to be the first round of the season. So without further ado, that is going to be it for the Track Guide of China. I mean, obviously, get your practice in, and if you are viewing the ATA, then make sure you join us for the first the division on Thursday at 7 PM. We've got 7 PM sharp, and then obviously the F1 division will be on Friday. Yeah, so from myself, BR Mr. Michaels, yeah, I'll be hosting the GP2 division on the Thursday, so hope to see you there. Obviously, if you're racing, best of luck to you. If you're watching, hope to see you there. So, till next time, yeah, guys. Oh, next week is Bahrain.